Where do you go when the demons come, when they visit you? Where do you go? I'm sat now, this is Shiv I'm out on my morning walk and I'm thinking about my own demons. No, I'm not immune to demons, that's for sure. In fact, as I'm walking along, I realize that's a really big reason why I do what I do, why I share what I share, and why I'm so intrigued to keep studying and finding and making myself my own experiment to feel better in this world. Because for too long, I didn't feel good. But then I nearly died, and as much as I can forget sometimes how deeply I wanted to live when that happened, it was a very humbling experience to realize that we don't know when that final moment is going to happen. When we take this life as a guaranteed thing, as though we're entitled to it. But when we get back to our roots, when we get back to our spirit, we realize that it's a privilege to be given this human body to live this life through, right? Without the body, we can't feel our emotions. Without the body, so many of our lessons wouldn't be available. And then life gets in the way. Life gets in the way and we forget about our spirit. We forget about our lessons. Shit, it's too much to do. Too many responsibilities. Too many people depending on you. Not to mention you, the one that's been neglected for too long at the expense of everybody else. And then the demons come and visit. And now you're alone with your demons. And how well do those demons know us, huh? That's right, they've been with us for a very long time. They know exactly how to get to our short circuit. And so it behooves us to learn how to short circuit back, right? That when we feel them coming, or when we see them coming, or when they sit on our knee, proclaiming, a little bit of traffic there, proclaiming that they are here and they are staying. That we might have a bit of a shortcut, a tool, a way out, an eviction notice that we can give to the demons. In America, there's a commercial that I remember when we had a TV for, I think it was Mucinex, decongestant. And I thought that I really admire good advertising. So this was these funny little creatures, and they took up residence inside your chest. And they moved in the sofa, they moved in the bed, and the family, the whole works, you know. And that's what our demons do, right? They know where all the furniture is, they know where the kitchen is. They can make themselves at home in a flash if they get over the threshold. So for us, it's about learning to get that demon before they come across the threshold, or to be able to slap them with an eviction notice really quickly if they manage to come across. And that's where I found myself yesterday, you know. And there doesn't always have to be a reason as to why we feel funky, you know. Pain and pleasure are two sides of the same coin. There are going to be days where we don't feel as vibrant as others. And then there are going to be days when we just feel like shit, right? The thing is not to resist the feeling like shit and to get really into that aspect of it, but more to allow it, first of all, to move through, right? Anything that moves through, is allowed to move through, doesn't do as much damage as something that we try to stop. So I think about the stone walls in England, up in Yorkshire where I used to live. And, you know, those are just stones laid on top of stones with holes in them, holes between them. They're not cemented. And that's because it's very windy up there. And if they had cemented them, the winds over time would have knocked them down. But as it is, some of those walls have been there, for many, many decades, maybe even hundreds of years, right? So how can we do that with our demons? How can we let them breeze, to be more of a breeze through rather than a train wreck waiting to happen? We get to identify it, right? That's what I'm saying, is we get to identify what it is that we do, what the triggers are. We get to identify the warning signs that there's a demon on the way. We get to identify the fact that the demon's here. And isn't it just a messed up thing that quite often when the demons are visiting you, even if you know what will make you feel better, there's a resistance, a reluctance to do it. As if, I tend to feel it's not so much that I'm not willing to do it, but rather that I'm down too far down a dark tunnel to just pop out. That's what it feels like. Truth is, if we did just pop out, if, I know that walking or working out makes me feel better, if I could just make myself do that next step, literally that next step, the one out the door or the one to where my weights are, then I would feel better. But that's it with our dark tunnel, the dark tunnel that comes with the demons. It envelops us. We get comfy in there because, well, we're more used to having pain than we are pleasure. So we get used to being in there. And in some very strange and messed up way, it almost feels comfortable in a very uncomfortable way. Can you relate? Have you ever had that? So, go back to yesterday, I had things I was going to do. The day before, I had surrendered and was feeling in a bit of a funk, and I had surrendered. Another great thing to do when you're in a funk. And basically kind of given up on too much happening during the day. And then I ended up doing quite a few things. I made a new top on my sewing machine. I've just started sewing, quite enchanted by it. And I cleaned the living room and the bathroom and vanity room. And that just makes me so happy. I deep cleaned the floors. I moved everything on all our altars. I dusted everything. I hadn't intended doing that, and I just ended up just keep going. And I was like, after this, I'll finish, and then I would do something else. And then I took a shower, and I came back out, and that's the gift that keeps on giving, right? My room this morning when I came out the tent back to the cottage, the room feels so good. Just worked out on the floor. Feels so good, right? So often we think the things that we need to do to feel good, we've got to do them all the time. But there's lots of things that we can do to feel good that pay us back in myriad ways, right? So when we clean, for example, or you tidy something, I went to work out and get my t-shirt out the drawer. Well, when we got back last week from our almost a month trip, I was unpacking, and my drawers, I don't have a lot of clothes, but my drawers are full because there's a lot of stuff in there that just needs to either be sent to Goodwill because it's too big, or it's just really worn. I wear my clothes until they're worn. So I went through 2 of my drawers. It took me less than 15 minutes, and I picked up every item. I either folded it to keep in the drawer, or to go to Goodwill, or threw it in a pile for the laundry for Goodwill, or for trash. So this morning when I went to get my t-shirt, there was another little pump there, a little good job, Shiv, because I opened my drawer and I could see all my t-shirts. I could see all my pants. right? So I've got some more to do. I want to do my closet. I took 3 bags to the Goodwill yesterday. We're doing 3 bags. So now we're going to fill up the next 3 bags and we'll take those. So these things that we can do. Then I walk into the clean room and that makes me feel good. Even though yesterday I then went into a funk, even with my clean room and even with all of that stuff, right? I did not come out for my walk. I was really resistant to doing anything yesterday to feel better until later in the afternoon when I started sewing, and then it was just gloomy to go walking and I just didn't want to go walking. So I ended up not walking. I did fast yesterday because, again, I don't necessarily like the fasting part. I want to eat, but I do like how I feel afterwards. And so this morning I'm waking up. I don't really know how I'm feeling. I'm walking along quite a busy road right now. I don't really know how I'm feeling, but I do know that I'm taking control of my demons, right? So yesterday I let them slip, and today I had a plan. Wake up, work out. Well, I did wake up, and the thought of working out was, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And then I thought back to yesterday, and this is how it starts, Shiv. This is how it starts. Because you make an arrangement with yourself. You make a plan. And then you renege on it. Because, well, you make the rules. Except, how are your rules serving you, Shiv? How does it feel when you don't work out, when you said that you would? Now, you've broken your word to yourself. Oh, Shiv, how many times are you going to do this? You do know what it feels like, right? But when you keep your word? Well, these were the thoughts I was wrestling with as I walked across the orchard from the tent to the cottage. Samaj was sleeping in the tent. The cottage was quiet. And I could just start doing some things, or reading, or doing anything but working out. And I went to my 2 clean drawers, and got out my workout pants, got out my top, and got to working out. It's half an hour. I just kept telling myself, in 30 minutes, Shiv, you're going to feel a lot better. In 30 minutes, for the whole day and the whole week, you can say you worked out today. And by the way, I didn't mention that I've been walking a lot down in Southern California, 7 miles a day average. A little less up here. I've been back for almost 2 weeks. But I have not done a workout since before Southern California. So it must be about 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So this was coming back as well. Always a challenging one. But I can tell you right now, as I'm walking, so I did my workout this morning, then I showered, then I put on my walking pants and my jacket. It's gloomy, it's a little chilly, it ain't getting any better, but I'm getting my miles in, and I'm getting to share it with you. And so no matter what the rest of the day brings, I have something to hold on to. No matter when nightfall comes, what my mind will tell me I didn't do, or how inadequate I was, I have something to hold on to. I call it my lifeline, right? So that we have something at the end of the day that we can hold on to. That's the purpose of Get Your Happy Back when we do our 40-day seasons, is that we choose something, a promoting habit and a demoting habit, and we learn how it feels to have a lifeline at the end of the day. And we learn how it feels not to as well, because nobody's doing their 40-day practice for the most part every day. And a lot of the practices don't even have to be every day. It could be that you're going to have less clutter in your house. So like me, going through your drawers, going through your closet, and then over 40 days, you'll go through, you can list the rooms, or you'll go through your whole house, or whatever. And then when you've done that, you have something to hang your lifeline on, right? And then every time you go to your drawers or to your closet, you see that work that you did. It pays you back. It's good, right? It's not always possible to see our demons ahead of time. It's not always possible to evict them. And sometimes they'll stay a lot longer than a day, and they'll linger. But in my experience, nothing's forever. Everything has to pass. So if we can be a little more proactive and do our part when we can, and at least be aware of when we're not doing our part, then we might be able to settle in with our demons a little more easily. Quite often our demons can have something to tell us, so we can use them for research, right? Get to know them instead of running away from them. So that's about the end of this conversation. I think I want to go drop into silence, to walk up the hill. I don't want to be huffing and puffing with you. You probably don't want me huffing and puffing with you. I do love sharing these trail talks with you. I hope that you enjoy them as well. I'd love to hear from you. You know, it's a big topic, and we can call them, they maybe not be demons, but that, that feeling when there's something kind of moves into you, into your being, and almost like turns off your light, right? And leaves you stumbling in the darkness, and you're trying to find your light switch again. So I hope that something in here has helped you to find your light switch again. And even if you can't find it, just know one thing. Never, ever, ever stop looking for it, because it's there. It's right there. So keep looking, keep up the work. I'd love to hear from you. This is Shiv. I'm out on the trail. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you on the other side. And if you want to come over and check out Get Your Happy Back, get that support, get to learn, get to feeling how it is in your body to do something and have the support, and how it feels to fail and be okay with it and get the support, then come over to onewomanrevolution.tv/next step. NEXTSTEP, next step, because that's what it's all about. It's all about taking the next step and being able to do it with people who support you, and being able to make small incremental changes that make huge, profound effects on your life. I really can't stress that enough. So I love you very much. I'm going to love you and leave you right now. Satnam, sweetheart. Thanks for joining me.